In today's video, I'm going to share with you my 2026 comic book collecting goals, as well as do a quick review of how we did in 2025. Let's go! What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is John and you're watching Old Stuff is Cool. I do hope you're having a very good start of the new year of 2026. I'm recording this on the Sunday right at the end of the winter break. I have two school-age children as well as a spouse that is in education, so we're very much living by the academic school schedule. But I thought this would be a great time to not only look ahead and set some goals for the coming year as far as comic book collecting, but also take this chance to review how we did in 2025 and see what we were able to accomplish. So before we jump into the new, let's look back on the year that was 2025. First up, I had a number of mini-series and series from my 90s collecting that I was finally able to close out. Notable runs include the Batman Sword of Azrael mini-series. So happy to finally close out that 4-issue run. I was also able to finish out the Galactic Guardians, a pretty obscure spin-off of the 90s Guardians of the Galaxy series. That was a 4-issue book that brought together some of the more interesting side characters. And finally, I was able to finish out my run on the 90s Quasar title, and I actually thought I'd completed that one when I got back into comics, a year and a half ago. Turns out I was missing 1 or 2 issues. Finally put that to rest. I love that run. I mean, I've talked about it and kind of can't stop talking about it. Now, while those are the complete runs, I also had partial runs that I was trying to fill out that I was able to check off, and that includes, I think most notably, the Todd McFarlane run on Amazing Spider-Man. That was not one that I went in and had even set. I think I want to get an issue here or there, because in my mind, issues 298 to 301, kind of the biggest expenses of that run were just long-term goals, and I just happened to, whether it be through conventions or new comic book shops that I visited, was able to find some good prices for those books. So that was one unexpectedly I was able to complete. Other ones include Captain America. Originally, this is one that I tweaked. I thought I was going for the whole Mark Gruenwald run. At this point of recording, I'm not really interested in the latter part of that run. However, I did finish the ones where we saw Ron Lim's pencil and his cover work. Really love Ron Lim as far as 90s artist, even just like overall comic book artist. For Ghost Rider, I was looking to finish issues 1 through 50, and that is complete. Now I actually have to read through, I've only gotten through the first 3 or 4 issues, but that's one I'm not sure if I'm going to hold on to forever and ever, but at least it's a nice chunk of the series. I'm not really looking to get the back half of it until I've read more. And this, of course, is the Danny Ketch version of Ghost Rider. Probably the superior design compared to the original Johnny Blaze 70s costume. But I'm totally up for discussing or debating that down in the comments below, so feel free to leave your opinion on what's your favorite Ghost Rider costume. I also wrapped up all the issues for Iron Man Armor Wars 1 and 2. Relatively inexpensive. Those are mostly, I think, dollar books, actually, the way I was able to complete that one. And then last but not least, from DC, I finished my single issue run of The Flash by Geoff Johns. One of my favorite works by the writer. I mean, I still enjoy his stuff now with Rook Exodus, but that Flash series, whether you read it in trade format, in omnibus, in digital, highly recommend checking that one out. It's because of that run that I love Wally West, and probably coupled with the Justice League animated series, Wally West is my ride or die as far as who is the Flash. Hey guys, Editor John here from the future. I can't believe I forgot to mention one of the comic book runs I finished, and that is the Fantastic Four John Byrne run. Yeah, I was really excited when I finished it. I had it in my notes, and I think, sometimes I just skip right over my own notes. I've been collecting it for the better part of a year, found it for mostly, $1 or $2 for majority of the issues. And while I've read bits and pieces of it, can't wait to sit down and just read the whole run in its entirety. All right, now back to the main video. I also wanted to quickly touch upon my 2025 goal books. I'll share a few of the different permutations that went through. And these were images that I shared primarily through Instagram throughout the year. And this was mainly to focus my hunt because there are so many characters I love from multiple publishers, and to have, a few benchmarks. I actually don't think I will continue this in 2026, or I think we might tweak things. It's something I'm working on. I think I might just come up with a overall big boy book wish list, because I will touch on this in just a little bit. I want to get more Silver Age books, and that usually means spending more dollars. But for the most part, I like that I've put books that were at different price points, some big boy books, some, $20 or so books, and because of that, minus like, I think the notable issues were like Avengers Annual 10, the first Rogue, and one book that popped on and off was the Incredible Hulk, Wolverine Todd McFarlane cover. Those are ones I am still targeting going forward, but everything else that came onto the list was pretty much checked off. There are a lot of Spider-Man books. This really, I call 2025 the year of the spider. As far as my collecting goes, that's how I would summarize 2025. But also really excited to have picked up the remaining issues I needed for the Dark Phoenix saga in my Uncanny X-Men run. And looking back, a lot of the books that were fun to pick up that I was gunning for were from the Marvel Bronze Age. So I don't think I'm gonna veer too much from that. If anything, we are going Bronze Age and further back. I'm trying to do this a little more off the cuff, but I think that will do for the recap of 2025. Again, what I'm calling the year of the spider for my own personal collecting journey. So now, what's in store for 2026? Well, I'm gonna break this into two parts. First, there's the more general points about how I want to collect, how I want to change collecting. And then the second part are more specific runs that I'll be focusing on. So first, how do I want to change collecting? I've mentioned this before, but I really want to streamline my monthly comic book pull list. I've allowed room in my budget to try new titles, try new miniseries, discovered a lot of great books, especially from Image Comics because of that. I also do pick up variant covers, which I don't cover in like long format videos a lot, but any notable covers from like Jenny Frison, David Nakayama, Stanley Artgerm Lau. If it catches my eye, I will usually pull it. But overall, I think I would like to also reduce those variant covers. Sometimes they did lead to more impulse purchase. Sometimes it led to discovering a new series, most notably something like the most recent run of Storm. There was a cool variant cover of issue 1, and because I tried that, I discovered a great new series in Comic Book Writer. So yeah, we're gonna just reduce overall the titles and books I'm pulling as far as modern comics go. Also, while it pains me to say this, I do want to reduce the amount of dollar books that I pick up, whether it's from online or in actual stores. I'd like to shift my focus to more quality over quantity, because quite frankly, where I live, it's a urban, semi-urban area, and storage is at a premium. I'm not gonna rent storage space just for this comic book collecting. The basement is not a good place to put comics, so I kind of, whatever room and closet space I have in this office that I film in, that is what I'm limited to. And while it's not gonna be a thousands and thousands of comics kind of collection, I probably overall would prefer that in the long run anyhow. So I will be trying to reduce my dollar book hunting. That's not to say that I won't go and try to, it's basically treasure hunting. I think that's part of the fun. The hunting is not gonna stop, but as far as bargain books go, I'm definitely going to be more pickier, be more choosier. And last but not least, I want to venture more into Marvel's Silver Age. I'm very much in the process of figuring out my criteria, but I think if I apply some similar rules, like go for the key issues first, go for notable covers, and specifically, I'd love to target Silver Age, X-Men, and Spider-Man, but do so, I think, at a much slower pace than the rate I was going for gold books, which would be best for my wallet as well, given the price point of some of these books. So those are my broader goals for comic book collecting in 2026. Now, here are some of the specific runs I'd love to target. Whether I finish them in this calendar year or not is not a big deal, but they're definitely ones that are guiding my comic book hunting. So first up, we have Captain America. I really still am surprised how much fun I've had in collecting the series. Oddly enough, a lot of my run is thanks to dollar book hunting, so I don't mind continuing to add to this collection from the dollar books especially, but I think as we're getting to older issues, that might not be an option, or it's tougher, but maybe a fun challenge. In particular, on this run, I am targeting the remaining Mike Zeck covers and Mike Zeck penciled issues, which are only 15, and these are in between issues 200 and 300. Just really love his work. A lot of things that I've collected this past year are by Mike Zeck. So that's definitely one of the more art-driven goals. If other Captain America issues, that surround those Mike Zeck issues, find their way into the collection for the right price, so be it. I'm also chipping away at the Jonathan Hickman runs of Avengers and New Avengers. On Avengers, I only have 3 more issues left, so it's pretty safe to say I'll probably finish that out this coming year. And then for New Avengers, I have about 14 issues left. So just keeping my eye out for those. For regular viewers of the channel, I've been loving Daredevil and Moon Knight. So Daredevil, I'm focusing on the remaining issues I need for the Frank Miller run, and there's only 12 left. This does include, the most expensive book of those 12 is the first appearance of Elektra, but I think with the right budget planning, and if we stick to my guns, it's not one that's out of reach by any means. But 12 issues left of the Miller run, I think that's not too shabby. As far as Moon Knight goes, with Volume 1, I think I've committed to basically getting the entire volume, albeit it's not a very high priority run to finish out. I have 18 issues left of that run. I believe that was a 38 or 39 issue series. One of the longer term series I'm collecting is Marvel 2-in-1. It's a long series. There were 100 issues. I think I have just over half of that series. And the ones that I don't own, they kind of feature, it's always the Thing plus another character. In a lot of the earlier issues in Marvel 2-in-1, the Thing was, he's paired with some pretty obscure characters, and I'm not really itching to pay big bucks for characters I'm not that interested in. So I'm not totally sure if I'm going to do a full run on this book. I'm definitely going to target the ones that feature some great Bronze Age characters like Spider-Woman. There's some cool issues with Black Goliath, and so on and so forth. There's a series Marvel Presents where issues 3 through 12 feature the original Guardians of the Galaxy. I just need issue number 3, which kicked off their tenure in that book. And then I'll be complete. And speaking of Cosmic Marvel, Silver Surfer, the 90s series that introduced me to Ron Lim, it introduced me to writer Ron Mars. I have 17 issues left to complete that series, and it's like 140 some odd issues. So getting really close to finishing that out. And last but not least, I'm trying to complete issues 1 through 100 of the first Wolverine ongoing series. Sometimes it's labeled as Volume 2. I only have 4 more issues left to complete that run, and I'll be done with it. So I think this is a good mix of ones that are nearly complete to ones that I can take my time with. So that does it for my 2026 comic book collecting goals. Now, before I go, I also really truly want to say thank you for those of you who have supported me this past year. I am still looking to grow this channel. The primary goal is just to share my comic book collecting journey, but videos like my top 10 favorite series, I will say did very well, and it was very fun to make, something a little bit meatier. So if you guys like those lists, and it seems like you do, I'm definitely trying to add those to the schedule. I've always wanted to grow beyond just comic book hauls, something a little more meatier, something that can speak to reading the darn comics and not just collecting them and shelving them away forever and ever. So that being said, if you guys have any specific lists that you'd like to see, sound off in the comments below. If you guys have any of your own comic book collecting goals you'd like to share, or think that goals are silly and stupid, whatever the case might be, also, I want to hear your opinion. But that's going to do it for this video. Again, thank you for tuning in, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Take care.